So today we are still on that very important discourse about searching for Igbo leaders and the true Igbo leadership. I mean, there's a whole lot that have been spoken about Igbo leadership in the past. Some people, sometimes go back as far back as 1920s, 1930s, with that mantra Igwe. Where did that come from? Is it really true that Igbos do not have leadership? And to what extent has that even affected us? Do you think also that the war, the civil war that happened between 1967 and 1970, also played a role in the way and manner our leadership have, deteriorated in the past, especially as it concerns the Igbo nation? Today we have with us someone who is an Igwe, who is also a leader in his own right, to speak to us about this whole issue about Igbo leadership and the true nature and the true standard of what exactly the Igbos are looking for. His Royal Majesty Igwe, Professor Chuckwuemeka Anayo Ugwunta, joins us on the program today. Good to have you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I mean, from your standpoint,
Yes.
do Igbos have leaders?
Yes, we have quality leaders, traditionally and professionally. Yes.
What brought about that thought? Igwe.
Very beautiful. I will start by introducing myself normally to you. However, I remain His Royal Majesty Igwe Professor Chuckwuemeka Ugwunta. Yeah, MTR, CON, and JP, Justice of Peace. Yes, people started bringing up the issue of Igwe because of a lot of things that we have encountered in our country, so-called Nigeria. All this started by political and tribal misunderstandings. What I mean by political and tribal crisis is because political has to go to the marginalizations of Igbos. When you come into the issue of national cake, that is political appointments, we have few Igbos in the federal political appointments. Then, when you come to the issue of employment, for instance, recruitment of Igbos or recruitment of people into militaries, paramilitaries, and otherwise, you see that hence you are not an Igbo man. Hence you are an Igbo man. Your CV or your credentials will not say true. Then, when you come to the religion, that's the tribal aspect of it, you know that we the Igbos, we are minority. Because Igbos are mostly Christians. But other tribes, Hausa and Yoruba, they are more together in Muslim religion. And that brings them together. Then, when you bring these two things together, you see that the Hausas and the Yorubas, when they bring out their Oba or their Emir, it's like they are worshiping them. Because the way and manner they install them, and the way and manners they respect them in their own culture and in their own tradition. It's like in Igbo, because in Igbo land we are agitating for we need to go, we need Biafra, we need this, we need that, because of marginalization. Okay, at the point in time they are dragging or agitating for all these things, you see that when an Eze comes out to talk, someone will stand up to say, Oga, for now, sit down. We need this. We want Biafra. We want the other one. Whereas we, the Ezes, We are trying to calm the situation down by telling them, cool down, we need one Nigeria. That thing you are agitating for in the federal levels, that is in the sense of political appointments, is something that we have to come to a round table and discuss about it, so that even the presidency, they will begin to give us listening ears over political appointments. It is just this political appointment that is bringing the issue of Igwe. We Igbos, like I myself, I'm a first-class traditional ruler. And when I talk to my people hear, and they respect me. But you see, some of our Igbo people, mostly some people that claim to be Igbos, but they are not Igbos. When you talk of other people like our neighboring states, Benue man now, if you see him on the road, he will dress up as Igbo man, put on red cap. When you ask him, Chief, how are you? He says, sorry, sir. He's not a chief. You begin to tell that is their own attire. Then, you see another person, like the other time in Delta State, you see somebody who will dress purely like an Igbo man, like a chief, like even as a traditional ruler. When you approach him to say, "May I know you? Which title do you have?" You tell them, no, this one. So, and the same people, they are imitating with the title people. Therefore, when you now say, sit down here, that one will be the first person to tell you, where is it? But as we Igbos, we have Eze. Eze means king. And a pure king, original king, son of the soil of Igbo land, when he speaks, people will hear, and people will respect and obey him.
All right, so at what point really did we lose it? Because you have highlighted some issues in the past that have brought us to this moment. At what point do you think that we lost it, so much so that we stopped respecting our leaders? So many youths these days, even when their Igwe speak, they tend to not obey the Igwe. It wasn't obtainable in the past. At what point did we lose it? I mean, the most recent case, in fact, is the case of Nnamdi Kanu.
Good.
So many leaders spoke to him about the way and manner he was going about uttering his words. But, I mean, he didn't listen. And now, upon this time of the day, we haven't seen anybody come up. No leader have actually come up to speak for him and even put their head on the line for him, you know, and now he's still in jail. So I'm just wondering, at what point do you think that we lost it with this leadership thing in the East?
Very beautiful. In the case of my brother, Nnamdi Kanu, I personally, with Okwadike Igwe, the late Chuckwuemeka, former governor of Anambra State, we visited Nnamdi. We tried to visit Nnamdi Kanu at DSS office in Abuja. They refused to allow us to enter. Then later on again, I and Obiozo, with 3 other persons, we visited him. What we found out from Nnamdi Kanu is not stubborn. It was as the case of the same marginalization and intimidations with this discrimination of Igbos. That is why this man came up to agitate of Biafra.
Well, at the time he was speaking about these issues, there were no leaders speaking about it. There were nobody talking about this marginalization the way that he went about it. You know, so some people say that is a failure of leadership of the Igbos at the time. That is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu emerged in the first place.
Let me help you. Nnamdi Kanu, before he emerged, there was this man we call Wazirike. He came up during his time. He tried to negotiate with the then presidency to see how they will accommodate Igbos fully in national cake. The national cake we are talking about is sharing formula of political powers in Nigeria. We are highly being intimidated. Based on that, they disappointed him. At a stage, the young man, he felt that he couldn't go further. Rather, he stepped down. Before Nnamdi Kanu came up again, when Nnamdi Kanu came up, He consulted some traditional rulers. He consulted some political muggles in Igbo land. And they still told him, if Nigeria could accommodate us fully in national cake, that the sharing formula, if we negotiate very well about the sharing formula in the national, in the federal levels, politically, that he will go down. But at the same time, they refused him. They did not want to listen. Even till today, the same thing is still happening. So based on that, Nnamdi Kanu came up. But as a matter of fact, today, we are now negotiating on the ground, talking to our top government leaders, government officials. Let me tell you, I am a member of Monarch Traditional Rulers in Council of Nigeria. So we, the Royal Majesties, not Royal Highnesses, Royal Majesties, we have been meeting. The other day we were in Kano, the other day we were in Taraba, the other day we were in Meduguri, trying to sort out things. Very soon Nnamdi Kanu will come out, because all hands are coming now on desk to make sure that there is peace. Actually, we need one Nigeria. We need a peaceful Nigeria. Before the war, what brought about the war is still the same marginalization, intimidation, discrimination. Then after the war, we still came back together because they declared no victory, no vanquish. Instead of us now to come back again to round table, as they agreed in Abri in Ghana, some people still disappointed, some people still fall apart. Based on that, Nnamdi Kanu, all these things are some of the points he's using today to agitate. But by his grace, in as much as I, His Royal Majesty, Igwe Professor Chuckwuemeka Ugwunta is concerned, there is a peaceful negotiation going on the ground from one state to the other. In fact, we are bringing all hands on desk to make sure that very soon Nnamdi Kanu will come out from that place.
So when he is released, do you think the agitation would end? Because you have mentioned that there is marginalization of the Igbos. You have also highlighted that it hasn't stopped, that marginalization, is continuing even with this current administration. So even if he is released, that particular issue never goes away. How do you think the government can integrate the Igbos into national politics? And do you see it happening under this administration?
Yes. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given us some words of encouragement recently that if we, the monarch traditional rulers, can guarantee him that if Nnamdi Kanu is being released, that these agitations will come to an end. Fine and good, the agitation will come to an end if also the federal government will consider bringing Igbos to the inner circle of what they are doing. I am laying much emphasis on national cake, political sharing, political power sharing. Give Mr. Wankwo, give Mr. Dele, give Mr. Yusuf. Everybody will go home smiling. There will be peace. But in terms of when Mr. Wankwo comes in, they say close the door. That we only need Yusuf and Abubakar. The agitation will continue. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he's a man to the core. He has brain, he has wisdom. He listens to people. He respects traditional rulers so much. So with our last meeting with him, he has given us his word that if Nnamdi is being released, that we should make sure that every protest and every agitation about Biafra, about Igbo nation will come to an end, provided he carry Igbos along. That's all.
Is that what exactly that was said at the meeting?
Yes, that is what we agreed on. And I believe that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he will not disappoint the monarch traditional rulers.
So the meeting discussed conditions as to why Nnamdi Kanu will be released.
Yes.
Was there mention of the fact that there are court processes that were done that released Nnamdi Kanu, and the government refused under the last administration?
This time around, we want to call a spade as carpenter's tools. If you want to remind two fighters what brought about the fight, the grievances will continue. But if you bring the two fighters, for instance, they are dragging this cup, you say, okay, gentlemen, is it this cup that is the problem? Okay. Go and bring, maybe as we have 3 major ethnic groups, Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba. You say, okay, this one goes to these people, this one goes to these people, this one goes to these people. When we, the Igbos, when we come back home, we have our people. For instance, when you get to Delta now, you see Delta Igbos. You go to Kogi now, you see some Kogi Igbos. You go to Hausa, you see the Fulanis, you see the Hausas, you see many of them. So they, each group will go back home and discuss how they will share their own. And thereby, when this thing is being done like that, I think there will be peace. So the presidency, as a matter of fact, today, they have known the truth of what the Igbos are suffering. And now that they have known, Tinubu is a man that has listening ear. He's a man with wisdom, and he has promised to do something. And I am promising Nigeria that in as much as we, the monarch traditional rulers in council, are concerned, we are going to make sure that there is peace, complete peace, love, and harmony in this country in the nearest future. We don't want all these protests and all these fightings, provided that simple national cake could be shared on a round table with a good formula. There will be peace, there will be happiness.
Right. I don't know the collaborations that you have with political leaders. That's the Igwes now and the Majesties. I don't know the extent of the collaborations you have. Do you think what we have right now, as it stands, in terms of politics and sharing of resources in the southeastern region, do you think the amount of monies that have been pumped in since 1999 up until this moment is commensurate with the developments that we're seeing right now?
Of course. You see, since 1999, the money, the allocations coming in, because like in Igbo land, we have only 5 states. We have original 5 states of Igbo land: Imo, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Abia. When there is crisis, if you hold a Delta man, he will tell you, I know Igbo, me I be Delta, I be Middle Belt. So you hold a Kogi man, he will, me I know Igbo, I be this. You can see what this my boy in what's that his name? Asare Dokubo. He's an Igbo man. But when there is crisis, he will deny that he's not an Igbo man. So based on all these things, the allocations coming to the 5 states, the Igbo nation, the Igbo land, is too small. We have the smallest portion. We have the smallest states. In Hausa, they have, in fact, when you check the 36 states, Hausas and Yorubas, they have the majority, the major states. But when you talk of Eastern Nigeria, it is now that they just added southeast. The ancient kingdom knows that Igbo land is Eastern Nigeria. And these are the 5 states that I have just mentioned. But even if the other neighboring states, they don't want to associate with us because we have been carrying our cross since 1970s till date. If federal government will say, okay, Igbo state governors, the 5 Igbo state governors, go home and discuss, give us what you want, so that when all these things are being given to you people, there will be peace in Igbo land. I think this is another assignment I will chip into the presidency, so that if they can grant us that opportunity, honestly speaking, my good brother and our illustrious son, Nnamdi Kanu, he's a peaceful man. He has the listening ears. When all these things are being done, he will come out and there will be peace.
Right. What I'm saying exactly is the resources that we have received in the last 23 years, 24 years of democracy since 1999, successive leaders have come and gone in terms of politics. You know, we can even do a rundown for Enugu State, for instance. from Chimaroke to Sullivan to Igwe, and then this current administration, with the monies that have come into the southeastern zone, the 5 states,
Yes.
is it commensurate with the development that we have? Some people will say that it's not even commensurate. Yes, you could say that in the zone, we are the smallest in terms of allocation, but even the one that we have, that we receive, that we know we receive every month, is it commensurate with the development that we see every day? And how are you, the people in your territory, addressing these issues or speaking truth to power and talking to the governors about using the resources given to them from the federal allocation or even from the states by means of IGR, to invest in the state?
Yes. For now, as I have said, it is not enough. They have to increase our IGR. They have to increase, because here in eastern Nigeria, we don't have a lot. We don't have enough. For instance, we don't have seaports. The Port Harcourt seaport is not enough to serve us. The crude oil we are talking about, you see the Niger Delta, they have given them NDCC. They even gave them a minister. Now, that area now, no Igbo man could work there. So, when they want to push in or bring in enough IGR, enough resources to Igbo nation, that is the 5 states of Igbo land, we can manage it, and you will see that there will be a good development. It's not when this cup is being sold in the market 10,000 naira, and you are giving somebody 2,000 naira to go and buy the cup. Automatically, you don't want him to buy the cup. So when the allocation coming to the Igbo nation is not sufficient enough to establish, to develop the Igbo land, we will keep on crying. No good roads. Go to Abuja, go to Kaduna, go to Kano, go to all the northern states. You see the kind of road they have. But because they are not giving us enough, we try to manage to repair and to build, and today, tomorrow, it will destroy, it will get spoiled. We need enough fund. We need enough.
You don't
resources.
think that the monies that are sent to the East are somehow, somewhat being pilfered, being stolen by government officials? Even the little that we have, we don't even utilize it to the best of our abilities. You don't think so?
No.
You mean that what we have is just too small?
It's too small
for us.
It's too small. Our politicians, our political leaders in Igbo land, in Igbo nation, they are gentlemen. They are not thieves. The only thing is that they are not being well funded. So when they are trying to squeeze out that money, someone that is working, or someone that is cooking or running a restaurant, know how the person must taste a small chop before things will go on very well. So my political leaders in Igbo land, they are very powerful. They are doing their jobs, but we are still pleading to the presidency to fund Igbo nation very well.
Right.
Then give us double portion.
What is for you? Talk us through the processes of choosing an ideal Igbo leader, either politically or even traditionally.
Good. You see, nobody is a saint. I must have to tell you, nobody is a saint. For instance, now, when you come to Igbo land, we have some gentlemen that are good leaders, that are good politicians. But sometimes we discover that some of them that don't have money to buy political power or to run, jump, and pass businesses in the political arena, it seems as if they don't know what to do. Because we have some gentlemen, some educationalists, some people that could, when they step into an office, they will give you the analysis of how to run the government or how to run a state. But sometimes you discover that they don't have the money to buy the power. And those people that purchases the power, they will try to extract the money they used, the money they spent during the campaign or during the process of purchasing that power. So at the end of the day, you see that the allocation given to the state or to the person to the state is not being properly used. But in a situation whereby we, the traditional rulers, we come together, and our politicians could also give us listening ears, we will come down and select quality people that will take Igbo nation to a greater heights. For today, the ones we have, they are doing their best, but they need more room for advice. Because a child that doesn't take advice runs mad.
So what role do you think traditional institutions play in our political leadership?
Yes, the roles we need to play there is this. For instance, when you come to a particular community, every community knows how a child, the king or the Igwe or the Eze in that community, he knows the background of a particular family. Every particular family, they knows it. There are some that are not, there are some that are no-go area. There are some that are known to be gentle. So if you want to select a good candidate, you go to that area. Those people that are very calm, those people that are truthful, those people that are sincere, those people that will not enter the office and become, saboteurs to embezzle the state fund. So we, the traditional rulers, we still need to work more closer to our politicians so that we can get something done, something very achievable.
All right. His Royal Majesty Igwe Professor Chuckwuemeka Anayo Ugwunta. Thank you so much for your insights on today's program. It's revealing and it's quite interesting, and I'm sure that we would continue engaging on these issues as it concerns Igbo nation, so we can have a clear direction as to where we're headed. I don't know if you can give us a timeline of when Nnamdi Kanu would be released. Do you have a timeline? Was that discussed?
For now, we are still working on. We are still doing our underground work, our underground negotiations.
Okay.
But in the nearest future, no distance that much, he will be released.
At least this year?
Yes. Let me say, if I should quote, you are trying to put it to me.
No, I'm not putting out.
If you put it to me this year, I will claim it. You understand me? But I know that my brother, our son, Nnamdi Kanu, God have heard his prayers. And Tinubu will be the Messiah to release him for us. Thank you.
Okay. No timeline yet, but it's okay.
For now, we are still working, we are still negotiating. Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor Chuckwuemeka. I truly appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much for participating on the program. It's been one interesting time with His Royal Majesty on the program. Do stay with us. This is Signature Television.